guys. Hi. Oh my, what a day. I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm here now. Are you thirsty? Everyone's here. Flat from the week. Yes, Shell, absolutely. Potato cakes, good work. Rob and Deb, hi. Chook, spuds and pumpkin, yum. Hi, Cotty and John. Hello, Craig. Oh, yum. Cheese, bacon, potato skins, sweet potato chips, and gnocchi. Fantastic. Hello, Karen. Hello, Joan. You all back together again today. Hello, Penny. Welcome back. Hello, Paul and Roz, and Karen and Peter. And I've just had a photograph of their fish and chips, and I'm very jealous. Hello, Sue and Jeff. How you doing? Thrice cooked potato gems. Good work. I actually hope that Jill. Oh, Craig. I thought you were correcting yourself. I thought you were like being the grumpy old man in the from the Muppets. You know, come on. Rakot crumply cotty. That sounds nice. Hungarian peasant dish. Layers potato, eggs, and kasabi. Yum. Can you please send me that recipe, Cotty? That sounds amazing. And hello, Anne-Marie. Lovely to see you. Penny, that's okay. Potatoes, Chardonnay. Alison's back. Hi. Me and Grumpy. Hello, Paul. All right. Welcome, everyone. And Emily, if you're watching, I'm so sorry to hear about current COVID situation at your house, but I hope that you're all feeling very well again very soon. Hello. Andrew, happy birthday. Birthdays are good. Hello, Sarah. How you going? And all the tricksters. All right, let's get into this because everyone's a bit thirsty, I'm sure. I'm just going to show you my pathetic potato offering. I'd kind of given up because today's just been one of those days. But at about 10 to 6, I went, I can't not have potatoes. And Jill had some parboiled potatoes that she let me have 2 of. And I fried them up. They don't look as good as they taste. I fried them up in duck fat because Jill's doing duck leg for the lunch this Sunday. And Jeff, I haven't seen your pics. Send them through. So fried them up in duck fat and then sprinkled truffle salt on them and fresh thyme. So that was Jill's recipe that she came up with at the last minute. And they smell amazing. And I'm gonna eat them in a minute. But yes, Craig's jumped in early. The wine is beautiful. Let's all get into it. So welcome to Drinks with Kate. The Moorooduc McIntyre Chardonnay 2019. Let's get this post-concussion syndrome. Sue, nobody needs to hear about your head. Okay, everyone, I'll tell you very quickly as I pour my Chardonnay. Dear friend Sue, who's my next door neighbour and who's also a regular on Drinks with Kate, had a little accident a little while ago and tripped down some stairs and managed to knock herself out. And now she's not allowed to drink alcohol or caffeine, and she has to lie in a dark room for 2 weeks. Is that right, Sue? And do weird eye exercises. So we'll have a drink for you. Cheers, Sue. Here's to your very speedy recovery. And anyone else who's feeling under the weather at the moment, please feel better soon. Cheers. Richard's come to hover over the bottle. I'm just going to show you guys the label one more time before I hand it over. There you go, Richard. And Jill and Peter, I think, have got a very small serve of potatoes that they're sharing with you, but don't eat them all by yourself if they've already brought them out because there's only enough for 2 bits of potato each. This is not the first time, Craig, that we've had this. Get wine soon, yeah. Well, if she gets better soon, she can have wine again. So both of those things are correct, Shell. We are back to our hoodies. I've got my special gold hoodie on. This was a new colour that came out. Still got the same logo on it, but the caramel gold colour I thought was pretty special, and there's only a couple of people in the world who have them. So, and I'm one of them. All right, guys, let's get on to this Chardonnay. Thanks, Penny. So, Craig, this is not the first time we've had this wine. We had it when we first released it back in October last year, I think. October, November, something like that. And I just thought it would be nice to relook at it. So a couple of reasons. I think that little bit of extra time in the bottle has helped. Hello, Anthony Brigitte. How you going? Near Cairns, in a motorhome with 2 kids. Hi, kids. Sounds fun. Does that mean that you guys are still driving, or you've stopped the motorhome somewhere near Cairns? Have a lovely trip. That sounds awesome fun. So this wine, when we first released it, I always feel a bit kind of sad when we first release wine, particularly the Chardonnay, because even though we keep it back for a couple of years, and the 2019 was released in 2021, towards the end of 2021, I always think it's just still a bit tight and a bit fine and a bit closed. So I just thought having a look at it about 6 months down the track would be a nice way to, hopefully it's still somewhere in those memory banks. Obviously for Craig it was, and some people I know take notes and some people don't, and that's okay. Both options are valid. If Kay were here, she'd be telling us exactly when we tasted it, but I think she's still away. So anyway, so 6 months on, giving this wine a chance to show, I think, that little bit of extra development and evolution and kind of coming together that this wine needed, I think, when we first released it. Also, we've nearly sold out. So I just wanted to remind you guys of it because, you know, you being like the core of the wine club, you needed to know that if you want any more of this, then you probably should order it fairly soon because we're just about out of it. So cheers to that as well. I've just run 18 bottles up to DHL for a wine dinner that I'm doing for a private club in Brisbane tomorrow night that I told you about last week. They'd underestimated how much of this wine they'd sold and kind of rang me yesterday and kind of went, oh, so it's winging its way up to Brisbane overnight and hopefully it will get there before I do tomorrow. Penny, well, you'll have to talk to Nigel, who is equally as lovely and wonderful as Linda in different gorgeous ways. Are you there, Nigel? I'm saying nice things about you. Because Linda's gone on holiday. Linda never goes on holiday. If you're watching, Linda, cheers to your holidays. I hope you've got a glass of wine in hand. Linda's gone on holiday for a whole 6 days, which is very exciting. Hello, Nigel. How are you going? So you can ring Nigel tomorrow, Penny, and he'll be able to sort you out with some wine. All right. I haven't put it in my mouth yet, Greg and Haley, but it does have a long flavour, I remember. And I'm just smelling it at the moment. It's so beautiful. It's got this gorgeous lemon. There's a lemon rind, lemon oil kind of aromatic there, which I think is really lovely. But then it evolves very quickly into some more complex aromatics. There's a little bit of white nectarine. There's these kind of really exotic. I'm not sure if it's my potatoes, but there's sort of a slightly truffly and lifted herbal nose to it as well. A little bit of fennel, little bits of cashew nuts, and it's just evolving all the time. I don't even want to stop smelling it. Nigel, potato chips with the Chardonnay, very good, cheap way to go. I didn't even have time to buy potato chips today. That's how busy my day's been. I'm not going to tell you about it because it'll re-traumatise me. So apart from me telling you that I've driven up to DHL at least once today. I put this in the fridge about an hour ago and pulled it out again about 10 minutes ago. and it's slightly cold, but I think it's a really good temperature because it's going to warm up. This room's actually nice and warm. Rich has lit me a fire again. The floor heating's working a treat. I'm nearly thinking about taking my hoodie off because it's quite toasty in here. But yeah, lemon rind and fennel, absolutely. It's got this gorgeousness to it, but there's also almost a sort of a honeyed note, and it's slightly blossomy, but it's also like really good wildflower honey, and that's that little bit of bottle evolution that's going on. There's that again. This wine, the McIntyre. So the McIntyre Chardonnay, just to remind you, I know I've told most of you this a number of times before. The McIntyre Chardonnay comes from the vineyard that's directly facing me. And for those of you who sat in this room and had lunch or dinner, the vineyard right out the window is the old Chardonnay vineyard that Richard and Jill and me, and probably my sisters and possibly even my brother, but he was quite little, planted back in 1984, 1983. So those vines are 39 years old, and they still produce. They're producing less quantity these days as they get older, but they produce the most complex and the most interesting Chardonnay fruit that we grow, which is, testimony to this whole old vine theory. But also, I think it's a sign that we lucked out on a really great site. So we've does that mean that we were lucky or we weren't lucky? We were lucky to pick a really good site because it seems to be a really special place to grow Chardonnay. Shell, what are you saying? Not sure if it's the pecorino garnish or the friedness of the potato cake, but after a bite, the wine gets really oaky for a split second, then straight into nectarine. Yeah. So you've segued beautifully into what I wanted to talk about. One of the reasons that I like to match fried food, and particularly fried potato, with a wine like this is that the wine has really beautiful natural acidity. And when you taste it on its own, the acid is really tangy. As Craig said, the acidic flavours balance really well against the creaminess. So on its own, you get that lovely acidity, you get that creamy mid-palate. There's all sorts of flavours going on. There's some slightly cheesy notes, there's all sorts of things. But when you put the fat into the, gosh, you're all just like beating me to the point. Fat and acid, the students have become the masters. Fat and acid do wonderful things together. And it's one of the reasons that when you have fish and chips, you'll squeeze lemon juice on it or maybe some cider vinegar on your chips. I remember I have very vivid memories of being a high school, secondary school student and catching the tram into town from school to catch the train back to Middle Park Station when it was a train and not a light rail. It became a light rail partway through my schooling. I'm not that old. Actually, you all know exactly how old I am, so I don't even need to worry about that. But at the Flinders Street station, they had a hot foods stand and their potato cakes were magnificent. And they were squishy in the middle and they were crunchy on the outside, and they had vinegar. They had vinegar on the stand, and I just absolutely doused the thing in vinegar and salt, and it was just the best thing in the world. So that was one of the things that inspired tonight's potato and wine matching. And the other thing was this radio program that I was listening to on the weekend, Blueprint for Living, and Annie Smithers was talking about making the perfect potato cake. And I just was listening and my mouth was drooling, and I thought I really have to try and do that. You need to have a deep fryer to do it well, but it does sound like a pretty awesome way to make a potato cake. So anyway, thank you, Penny. I think Richard and Jill did quite a bit of research, but I think that even they would agree that they did good research, but they were lucky that they found an exceptional spot rather than just a very good spot in Moorooduc. Also, it had a good feeling to it. is something that Dad always says. G&H, great brand name. G&H. Greg and Haley. Yes, fat and acid. Excellent. Sorry, Craig. I was just taking a little while to understand your abbreviations. Cotty, when you do the open mouth slurp, getting a sweetness that isn't there when I taste normally. So yes, it does have that fruit sweetness, that nectarine character, and that honey coming through. And the sweet oak that, who was it that mentioned? Oh, Shell. That sweet oak that Shell was talking about that comes out with her food. I'm going to have a bit of potato. You guys are very chatty tonight, so I'll have to try and keep up with you. Bit of potato. Yum. Thank you, Alison. Stop teasing Andrew. That's not fair. Hello, twins, and Sam and Paul and Mel. Welcome to the madhouse. I hope you've got some potato and some Chardonnay to keep you entertained. Hello, Sharpie and Rod. Lovely to see you. It's always nice to hear from you. I'm glad you're liking the Chardonnay. We think it's pretty yummy too. And if you just had a packet of potato chips, and even if you didn't have that, some nice salted peanuts or some cashew nuts would also work very well with this wine, just as a little snack. Penny, you could be right. There's perhaps something about just lean instinct that got them there. Hello from a twin that is amazing. Hello, amazing twin. Which is the most amazing of the twins is the question. Just being a stirrer. I like that, Shell. Nice ACD tribute band. That's really interesting, Nigel, that you're picking a slightly kerosene character on the nose. I don't quite get it as kerosene, but I do get it as lemon oil and a little bit of grapefruit oil. Hello, Heidi. There we go. I've got one of the twins' names now. There is a character that's not fruit and that isn't spice and isn't herbs and isn't nutty. It's a minerally character. There is a slight kind of, this is a reference that I wouldn't have known a few years ago because I've only started making cocktails recently, mostly to entertain myself and others during lockdown. But when you get some lemon rind or some orange rind or some grapefruit rind and you just twist it over your martini or whatever it is that you make, those essential oils that come out of the rind, that's what I'm smelling. And Rob and Deb, there's absolutely a preserved lemon kind of salty character in the wine as well. It's very complex. It's got lots of things going on and some things are quite difficult to describe and some things are really obvious. So I think that's one of the reasons I love this wine and it keeps changing. Craig, it's such a great wine with fatty carbs. And how could you get any better than fried bits of potato when we're talking about fatty carbs? It's a great wine to match to that because the potato and the fat and the crunchiness just really kind of brings out all those lovely extra flavours. And the acid cleans it all up again. Hello, Barry. Lovely to see you. Oh, everyone's coming in to join us tonight. How lovely. Nige, if you want to have it with KFC chips, knock yourself out. I think if I'm going to eat fried food, I am going to be really picky and I'm either going to get it from a really good fish and chip shop, which I believe there is one down here in Mornington, but I haven't been able to check it out yet. So I'll check it out and work it out. But I'm a big fan of potato cooked many different ways. As I said in my email, it might be because I've been sort of avoiding potato-y things for a little while in an attempt to eat more green vegetables, get myself healthy for the big birthday party in a couple of months' time. Barry roast potato chips, yum. So yeah, roast potato chips are fantastic. Do them in the ovens, coat them in a bit of oil before you chuck them in. The big trick with potato is that it needs a lot of, as well as needing hot fat to fry it or to cook it, it it also needs lots of salt. And I think anyone who skimps on salt with a potato dish as simple as this, or even if you did a baked potato and you get that lovely fluffy steamy potato on the inside and the crunchy skin on the outside, cut it open, as well as butter. It really needs salt and pepper before you start putting things like sour cream and fried bacon and things like that on the top. That will make all the difference to your enjoyment of your potato. So, and the salt also brings out a lot of the fruit again in the wine. I might have to call on my father to bring me a little bit more wine because my glass seems to be leaky. Thank you, Richard. Did you take some to Peter? Peter's still cooking in the kitchen. Thank you very much.
Oh, the bottle's a bit leaky.
I know, you might have to get another one.
Maybe.
So, what a lovely way to celebrate nearly the end of this wine's existence in the shop. It's a pretty special wine. It's the wine that not only it was the first grape variety that we got right in the vineyard, but it was the first wine that the media recognised as being worthy of huge praise. And this is obviously not this vintage, but back in the 1990s, we did very well with this Chardonnay in the Halliday Companion over various years. I think the 96 was pretty highly regarded, wasn't it, Richard? Can you remember? Was the 96 that was the one that got 97 out of 100? Yeah. So, and in 97, in 1997, Richard was just saying that was the first year that we started playing around with wild yeast, and this was the wine that first had wild yeast ferments. So it's a wine that we're very proud of for many reasons. It was our first lots of things. It was our first success, really, here at Moorooduc, and I never miss a chance to have a glass of it when it's an option, because we don't make huge amounts of it, so I don't get to drink it very often either. But it always makes me happy when I do, which is what really good wine should do, I reckon. We don't really put this wine up for awards anymore, Craig. The thing is, it's really difficult. You can throw wines into. Well done, Sam. Oh, you're having the set potato chips. Fantastic. So those chips that I think I probably discovered before almost anyone else in the world, I brought them to you guys first from the IGA in Mount Eliza. They've been in Gourmet Traveller magazine. They've been somewhere else that I was reading the other day. They're everywhere now. It's crazy. We are just groundbreaking in our trends and coolness and chippiness. But there's a lot more flavours coming in now, apparently. But I think that the Sepp potato chips are always the best. Anyway, what was I saying? Blah, blah, blah. Do we still put the wine up for awards? So as we only make about 150, 200 dozen bottles of this wine, if we send it out to all the wine writers and put it into all the awards and wine shows, we deplete quite a lot of our thank you, Craig. We would deplete quite a lot of our stock, and we'd actually rather you guys got to drink it rather than sending it off to shows. So we still send it to the most important wine writers in Australia. The Halliday Review always gets a copy, so that would be Jane Faulkner these days. We often send a bottle to James as well because, he kind of discovered this wine first, so he should get a bottle of it. He can give it to his friends if he doesn't want to drink it. We sent it to Hugh and Hook, and Hugh and Hook likes this one. But Hugh likes our Pinots better than our Chardonnays. Hugh calls our Chardonnays a little bit old-fashioned, which I think is I find hilarious because I don't think they're particularly old-fashioned anymore. But when you get stuck in an idea, and maybe compared to a lot of the other Chardonnays he's drinking, they still do look a bit riper and a bit richer and a bit fuller than other Chardonnays, which to my mind is a good thing. But anyway, that's my personal bias. We don't put the wine in shows or competitions. We've been playing around with. It's not really. The wine is not, as I said, it's not trendy. It's not kind of lean and mean and super high acid, and we're not looking for sulfides in the wine. We're trying to avoid them. Thank you, Coddy. Old-fashioned. I think this wine has evolved quite a lot over the years, but the core of it is still that lovely fruit and acid balance, and I think that's really important. And the other thing I was going to say about this wine is, as delicious as it is today, and I think it's even more delicious than it was when we tasted it 6 months ago. I'm going to have to go back and look at the tasting again now. I think 6 months ago it was pretty tight, and it took a long time to open up, and it's really kind of evolved a bit in the bottle. But that said, I like drinking, and I think I've said this to you guys before as well, I like drinking these wines when they're about 8 years old. So it's still got a little way to go. It's got a little way to go before it kind of, fully blossoms, which is quite exciting. And it's one of the reasons, and this is seriously not a sales pitch, because it is what it is. But I think that wines like this, if you can stash 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 bottles of this in your cellar and taste them over a period of time at different times, thinking about that wine compared to how it was last time you tasted it. A lot of people say to me, that's crazy. If you've got 6 bottles and you taste 1 bottle of this wine a year, how am I possibly going to remember what it tasted like a year ago when I've drunk all the other bottles of wine that I've drunk in between times? The more you practice, the better you get at doing that. And I think if you write a couple of notes before you just kind of relax into the wine, that helps. Keep a little notebook helps as well. But I think, you come back to a wine like this and it's got such a strong personality. It's like meeting an old friend. When you have a bottle of it and then you have another bottle 6 or 12 months later, you kind of go, oh, wow, I remember now what it was that I liked about this wine last time. And that's still there, but there's some other things that have changed. And maybe I don't like it quite as much as I did, last time, or I like it even better. And I think you'll find very quickly your brain will kind of click into that way of thinking. And, Deb and I have talked a lot about mindful drinking. And I think that's one of the points of this group is that we sit around and we have we slowly drink through a glass or 2 of this wine, and we relax a little bit and we eat some food and we have a nice time, but we're also really spending quality time with the wine as well as quality time with each other. Alison, that's all right as well. As you just noticed, I just got a little bit extra poured and it's looking fresher again. So if you have the opportunity, if your glass is a little low and you've got some more still in the bottle, just pour yourself a little bit more and come back and have a look at it again, because when it opens up, it changes over time. But a fresh pour from the bottle can change the wine again. Oily notes. Nigel, you have to find some better words. Oily notes sounds really ugly. I know what you mean. But it has a richness and it has a slipperiness to it. You go back through the Drink With Wine chat archives to find tasty notes from days gone by. Absolutely, Shell. They're all up there, unfortunately. Has anyone gone back and looked? I remember going back and look at some early ones and they were crazy. But I was a little more nervous, but I was also less sloppy than I am now. Now we could just kind of range around and, just chat and relax. They do say, Alison, if you go into YouTube, if you Google YouTube Moorooduc Estate Live, they'll all come up. And then you can watch them to your heart's content. They do. I would recommend skipping the first 5 minutes of each of them, because that's where I say hello to everyone, and it gets really tedious when you're not actually, there and being said hello to at the time. But there are some good tasting notes on there. Definitely keeps changing into the third glass. Absolutely, Craig. I think a lot of that lemon fruit has kind of faded away. There's a little bit of grapefruit tanginess still. But for me, there's a really sort of a really nice crunchy white nectarine character too. Oh, Alice in the chat. It is there somewhere. I'm just not sure how to. I think if you watch it on your computer, then you can see the chat. But if you watch it on the television, you can't see the chat. I know that. And I know if I watch it on my phone, which I do sometimes to just check that I didn't say anything really stupid the night before. Button for live chat. Oh, good. Thanks, Shell. All right. We'll have a little play around, make it work. Comes up in time with the video. That's what I thought. Yeah. So when I watch it back on the computer, I can see the live chat. If I don't watch it back on the computer, I can't see it on my other devices, but that's probably just me and how it's set up. You have an investigation, Alison. I think you could be in for hours and hours of entertainment this weekend. Oh, dear. So, team, Samsung TV has the live chat. I have to take my jumper off. I'm getting a bit hot. I think Dad's made too good a fire. Oh, hang on. Don't want my Sorry, my T-shirt was coming off as well, and you really didn't need to see that. I'm back. Oh, Shell, all your vegan Insta followers know you're not a true vegan. Oh, no, that's terrible. I don't think we can edit it post publishing either. Very sloppy. I know, embarrassing. That's better. It's quite warm in here. It could be also the alcohol starting to do its very clever job. So I've investigated, and I think most of my hardcore followers who are here tonight, who are interstate, have ordered the next pack 4. It says on the Australia Post website that, Craig, yours has been delivered. And everyone else who has ordered it, who's interstate, should be getting it sometime in the next few days. I think the 29th was the last date that it said it was going to be delivered. So hopefully everyone will have their next box. Everyone who wants it will have their next box in time for next week. I'll check in with you on Monday and get you to between the 24th and 28th. Yeah, thank you. Craig, the magic bottle. Oh, hello, Nareem. Nice to see you. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, and so just to run through with you guys. Good work, Alison. Sorry, I keep eating this potato. It's gone kind of cold. And who's coming to lunch? Sorry. Don't speak with your mouth full, Kate. That's what my mother taught me when I was a girl. Terrible manners. Who's going to lunch on Sunday? There's a few of you coming, I think. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to mix you all up around the room. It's going to be fun. That's correct, Anne-Marie. You and Scott will be at lunch on Sunday. I just had a look at the list earlier, but of course, we were talking about goldfish lately, and I feel like my brain is a little bit like a goldfish brain at the moment, and I can't remember who is on the list, but I know that there's quite a few of you coming, and that will be awesome. It's going to be lots of fun. And those of you who are not coming, so those of you who are coming get a sneak preview, and those of you who came last month obviously got a sneak preview of the 3 wines that we're going to be doing over the next 3 weeks, which are the 2020 Robinson Pinot, the 2020 McIntyre Pinot, and the 2020 Garden Vineyard Pinot. which I think is going to be huge fun. Nigel's going to be filling in for Linda, so it will be very nice for Nigel to catch up with people. Oh, Penny, I'm so sorry. We sent out the emails about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and to be honest with you, to the wine club, and you are on that list. I'll double check that that's still going to you. Both of the events got booked out within sort of 24 hours. It was ridiculous. The first dinner got booked out in about 3 hours, and we had to turn this Sunday's event, which was going to be some other wines, into a repeat of last month's. So I'll check, Penny, that your emails are still coming to you, but I'm sorry you missed out on this one. You'll have to come to the next one. What else? Who else? What else? No, that's all. So next week we'll be coming back and tasting the 2020 Robinson Pinot Noir. Those of you who've already tasted it, whether you've come to Cellar Door, whether you came to Red Hill, was that last week? Was that only last week? God, time's going really fast and really slow at the moment. There's lots going on. It's good to be busy, but I'm having trouble holding my head on at the moment. Lucky I have quite a good diary system. Thanks, Penny. Yeah, it would be nice to have you along. And we will one of these days have a special Drinks with Kate party, which I think would be lots of fun. Rob and Deb, left field question, apropos your winefulness comment. See, Deb's got all the good words. Winefulness comment. Do you think that mind state is important in wine appreciation? I think that it can be in everything. I mean, you know, if you go into a yoga class, if you go for a jog, I'm not really sure about that because I don't jog, but if you go for a nice walk, whatever, depending on how your brain is kind of working and what you've been thinking about and what your experiences have been just prior to that, it's going to have an effect on how you interact with the activity. And I think mindfulness. Craig, thank you. So Pinot Palooza, we didn't do Pinot Palooza this year. And I think it's kind of got a little bit big for us, as I said to you guys before. So I'm glad we didn't miss too much, Craig. And yeah, it's always nice being there because we have a lot of fans, but you know, can't do everything. So I think state of mind, coming back to Deb's question, state of mind is important in wine appreciation. But I think that when we do what we're doing here, and I see it with you guys, because sometimes everyone's really serious and concentrating and asking, you know, very deep winey questions, and you know, sometimes it's just because we haven't had the wine before, or it's something new and I've got more information for you, and sometimes we're revisiting something that we haven't tasted for a little while, but all of these things interact with how you interact with the wine. But I actually find, for me, this group is something that even if I've had a really stressful day or a really busy day or an exhausting week, I mean, you guys can tell me. I think sometimes I'm speedier and sometimes I'm a bit more relaxed. But I find that this session with you is very calming for me. It kind of slows me down and makes me kind of stop and think and focus on what we're doing and on the now. So I think that's really nice. And yes, it is therapy, Shell. Therapy with me and therapy with all of you guys. And it's yeah. So hopefully, I mean, you know, remember back when we started this, the whole point of this was when we were in lockdown and people were working from home more than ever, and for many people for the first time, the idea was to try and kind of carve out some space that wasn't work, and it wasn't the stress of COVID, and it wasn't the stress of what was going to happen tomorrow. It was just like, let's stop and concentrate on this glass of wine and just have a chat and maybe be a little bit silly and have fun. And I think that we keep doing that. Thanks, stop it. Okay, yes, Penny, we will talk about Sicily. Okay, we'll talk about that later. That sounds good. Yes to Drinks with Kate party, absolutely. Thank you, Shell. Fast and slow, all at the same time. And it's a little, it makes my head spin. So yes, Deb, we should set up some wine and therapy workshops. Absolutely. Hey, don't get teary, guys. That's crazy talk. Anyway, if this little session helps you guys slow down and stop worrying about the things that worry you for a little while, then I have done my job. And I think that tonight, this wine has done its job. Potatoes, because potatoes are very good for calming you down as well. Apparently carbs are very good for, we comfort eat carbs for a reason. They kind of, they get into your stomach and then your brain loses a bit of blood because the blood goes to your stomach to, digest the carbs, and you calm down because you can't worry about things so much when you're busy digesting potatoes and wine. So cheers to us all being calmer, more rounded, more relaxed people as a result of Drinks with Kate. Next week, 2020 Robinson Pinot Noir. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the wine. I thought the wine was super special as well. I'm really glad that we had a chance to revisit it 6 months on. Maybe I'll stash a little bit so that we can come back to it when we're doing Drinks with Kate in 5 years' time. But anyway, until then, take care, everyone, and enjoy your Chardonnay. Have a wonderful night. And yes, cups equals comfort. That's correct, Nige. Cheers, everyone, and I'll see you all next week, unless I see you on Sunday, because I will be seeing a few of you on Sunday. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye. Where's my thing? Love you all.